Alba.
Yep. Okay. Let's open.
Shepherds we shall be. For thee, my lord, for thee. Power hath descended forth from thy hand. Feet may swiftly carry out thy command. So we shall flow a river forth to thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be. And when your patriot feed thee, spirit to sun.
Okay, hello, Cyberspace Desire Terracin, your favorite cyber bitch here. And the title of tonight's show is Boondock Saints, and All Saints Day is on Netflix. St. Patty's Day is coming up, and I might not be able to spend it with Burnside, so I'm gonna be watching these two movies like fucking mad. I'll say that Boondock Saints really got me to where I, other than the fact that I'm a third Irish, really got me liking the Irish accent.
Kiss a brogue, me dad.
I mean, there's, you know, it's the reason why one day I'm going to kidnap both Sean Patrick Flannery and Norman Reedus and give birth to their bastard babies. I have with me tonight my chunky monkey, my baby brother, an American Celt.
Hey.
I have the Nano Reaper.
Hey, people.
And we have Scooby 331.
Hey, hey.
And so I did notice you guys in the chat with the Mickey interview. Thank you guys for coming.
Oh, not a problem. I was telling Nano and a few other people had asked me, they're like, I thought this was an open forum, and I thought that, you know, freedom of speech. And folks, let me just clarify something really quick to everybody. I bounced at New York City bars and Long Island bars for years. It's the bouncer's discretion. You ain't coming in.
Not only that, I was asking questions that I had already planned to ask. I wasn't taking anything out of the chat. The chat did bring up, you know, we're mentioning things that I had planned to ask about. So because when it came up in the chat, I purposely delayed the question. Yeah.
Well, I look at it this way. All questions are valid, but yeah, no, we ain't having shitbags in here dirtying up the joint with their funk, so they can get the fuck on. That's what that was.
Oh, and Scooby, I have an image for you that I found on Twitter.
Oh, very cool.
Let me do a screen share.
Alrighty.
A whole bunch of people were tagged in it. Look at myself. There you go.
I'm gonna say he didn't answer my questions to my satisfaction, so you know.
You go, Scooby.
Oh, that's very cool. Thank you.
Also, you really can't claim to be a National Socialist and right-wing. Those two are mutually exclusive because socialism is a distinctly left-wing, whether it be nationalist or internationalist. It is a absolutely left-wing ideology.
Yeah, I had actually asked them about that myself, and they were explaining to me it's the socialist thing is because in German they use socialist instead of civics when they're talking about civics. I said, well, that's great, but we're talking English, which is exactly what I explained to them. I said, we're using the English language, so call it national civics then.
No, because Hitler did nationalize production, seized the banks. He did socialist shit, so that's not a pass. Try again.
Again, this is not what I asked him. This is when I was talking to like the whole throng of his followers.
Yeah, it's just an easy way for them to try and explain away an inconvenient fact.
I'll be honest with you, bro. When me and him talked, we talked like how you and I talk. We bullshitted about things other than that. Like, because he knew it was something I'm not into, and he didn't want to hear me fucking tell him my political views on things of that nature, because I'm sure it's just as offensive to his ears, my progressive views, as his views are to my ears. So it was something we avoided. You know, the way things used to be, how you could talk to somebody of a different political stripe and be civil with them.
Yeah, well, you know, that went out, I think, in 2008.
Yeah, that's actually why he started having me on his show, was because he said, you're the only progressive I know that I can actually have a conversation with. I said
2008?
Huh?
He said 2000. Oh, wait, Obama was elected.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's when civility went out the window.
Yeah,
what happened then that caused that to happen?
People became perpetually offended.
Yeah.
Oh, so Scooby.
Yeah.
Today, Alice Cooper, the godfather of shock rock, celebrates his 71st birthday.
Oh, God bless him.
And in 2011, the Alice Cooper Band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Very cool. You know, it's very funny. I got an old issue of Maxim around here, and it's one of my most cherished things is the interview they have in there with Alice Cooper. It's a very short interview. And they were asking him what was some of his most memorable things throughout his career. And two of the things that were highlighted that stuck in my memory was Jim Morrison called him up one morning. Called him up one day, rather, and he asked him, he's like, how's your day going? And he said, woke up this morning and had myself a beer. That's how I started my day. He said, and next thing you know, he said, Morrison put that in the song. He said, and I felt so flattered. He said, because he told me, like, later on, he's like, I took that from you. He's like, so, the fact that this Doors song, it's just, he's like, it was a conversation we were having. He's like, like, in the middle of the afternoon, he's like, I'm just sitting around, drinking a few beers because it's, a lazy day and there's nothing to do. He's like, and he threw it in a song. He's like, I felt very flattered. And the other thing that Alice Cooper was saying was, he was nursing a hangover and he was at some hotel, and all of a sudden this traveling circus came in, and what it was Salvador Dali, and he had this like whole circus that would precede him. It had like acrobats and like contortionists and people who were bouncing like plates on sticks and shit. And Alice Cooper said, I'm sitting there, dressed in all my regalia with my leather jacket on, like trying to have a cup of coffee to get rid of this hangover. He said, here's this crazy son of a bitch. He said, he's having a cup of tea, and he has this kid dressed up in like a fez and like this outfit, and he's holding this pitcher of honey, and he's pouring it. And the way Salvador Dali is, instead of using a spoon, he has this silver scissors, and he's cutting threads of the honey and putting the threads of honey in his tea. Which I read that, I'm like, wow, this guy has had the most amazing life. Like, to meet all these crazy people, and just to sit there and have these conversations with them. It's amazing. And to think he's only 71. You say only 71, but then you look at the man's lifetime, you'd think he'd be like 701. Very cool.
So, in my local news,
mm-hmm.
Gainesville police officers, this is the UF newspaper called the Alligator retweeted this, and I'm guessing that this person that wrote this little snip, Taylor Gertman, is probably one of their reporters. It says Gainesville police officers' salaries, which is about $41,939, is the highest in surrounding county departments, according to 2017's Criminal Justice Agency report. When compared to the 85 similar-sized departments in Florida, it ranks 36th. And then somebody named Katrina Elwood had said, they're supposed to be doing a live tweet about the mayoral debate or some shit like that. Powell said that today, and the bus drivers and police officers can't afford to live in the city. With $41,000? Really? I've seen a lot of police officers have nice fucking houses.
Where is this?
Gainesville, Florida.
Maybe not. I mean, Florida has ridiculously overpriced real estate. So,
well, also we are in a college town, University of Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's gonna automatically make your fucking as somebody that owns rental property. I'm gonna put it this way: I rent to people in a college town. I can charge. I can charge twice in Denton for a rental piece of property than I could for the same size rental property in Crum, which is literally 5 minutes down the road, because Denton has 2 colleges in it. So you're going to look at like a 3-bedroom house in Denton that I own, that I will rent out, and I'm getting out of the rental property fucking shit. It's like a fixing shit. I'm just going to own fucking storage units. It's far cheaper, far more profitable. You can rent one for $2,500 to $3,000 a month for a nice one. That same house, the same luxury level in Crum, 5 minutes down the road, is going to run you about $1,500 a month.
Damn.
And that's because of colleges. And by the way, college students will live in absolute cesspools.
Yeah.
And pay absolute top dollar rent.
We actually have technically 2 colleges in town. Santa Fe College, which finally got out of the category of a community college. It's a college rank on its own. And then the University of Florida. And
yeah, but let's be honest. University of Florida is the only one that counts.
Yeah, for now. And then we also have, other than the next nearest VA hospital being in Jacksonville or Orlando, we have a VA hospital here. And then we also have Shands Hospital, which is #1 in treatment for children's cancers.
I'm going to give you that. Hospitals really don't affect rental rates.
Ours does, because it's a teaching hospital.
Okay, well, if it's a teaching hospital, that's a different thing. You might as well have said medical campus, because that's what it is. But dealing with like colleges artificially inflate rental rates, and this is because every college student, after their freshman year, no longer wants to live on campus, because campuses have ridiculous rules. RAs are assholes, and you know, we can go down all the reasons why no one wants to live on campus.
Oh yeah, I know exactly why. I dated a guy that lived on campus, and I'm like, how the fuck can you live here?
Yeah. And God forbid you buy a gun. You don't want to live on a fucking campus anymore. Because half the time you have to keep it in your fucking car, which is far easier to burglarize. So the idea is, like, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you know, they're going to be like, oh, we're going to go to, we're going to live off campus. And then, you know, me, a property owner can go, hey. And by the way, I hired a property management company once I had more than 6 rental houses, because I don't have time to deal with them. And so, you know, they charge out the wazoo. And the thing is, if same, like say, it's a 3-bedroom house, and you've got a pair of couples that are dating, you know, a boy, girl, boy, whatever, you know. As long as they ain't fucking the refrigerator, I don't care, because I don't want the fucking refrigerator. And the thing is, if they're willing to make a 10-minute commute from Crum to fucking Denton to go to school, I mean, if you're driving to UNT, you're not going to find parking anyway. You might as well fucking park, you know.
What's a UNT?
University of North Texas. Or, I mean, T-Dub has better parking, but the University of North Texas would rather build new fraternity houses than parking garages. And that is absolute asinine shit. But, you know, I'm an alumni. They ask me for money. I tell them to go fuck off. Because, quite frankly, that's a long story and not relevant to what I'm talking about. But the point of the matter is, they come in and the people are like, I want to rent it. You know, they're willing to pay $3,000 a month for a 2,800 square foot house. All right. And if you live 10 minutes by a car down the road, you're paying $1,500 or less for a 2,800 square foot house. And I just don't see the fucking point. But I will take that fucking rent money every month. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Here you pay over $1,000 a month for a 1-bedroom house or a 1-bedroom apartment, but a 2-bedroom you can get for like $600 a month.
That's because
that's because a lot of college students here don't want to deal with roommates.
I think
my rent here is like $300 a month. That includes
well,
water.
You also know your landlord.
Yeah, used to
on a personal level.
But even so, like that was his starting price for anyone. He actually jumped up the price when my friend pretty much let his cats piss all over the place in his apartment.
Yeah, and he said he would drop it down to the same amount for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but here's another thing. When you're dealing with roommates, is, it's more paperwork for me, but, we can actually run it where you actually can split it and you're not responsible for the other person's part of rent. That's too much pain and work for me. But, I mean, if you do split it, you're going to have to rent. And, I mean, most of the people I know that rent 3 bedrooms, which is usually what I own, is there'll be 2 couples, they'll each have a bedroom, and they'll turn the 3rd bedroom into some form of activities room. Like, home gym. So.
And let's see. That power person said with that same article, she wants to go through the city's budget and find money to pay them more.
You know what that translates to? Hello, higher property taxes.
Yep. Okay, so a year and a half
you're trying to get out there then.
A year and a half ago, the City Commission adopted a zero waste initiative, which spurred the single-use plastic bag and foam container ban. Well, it's just now starting to go into effect in August, where no more styrofoam takeout containers, no more plastic bags at grocery stores, stuff like that. Except for like fruit or the styrofoam for meat and stuff like that, because the styrofoam absorbs some of the blood and everything. And then
I'm gonna let you know right now that is a fucking fundamentally waste of time and money. But hello, big government. If people want to bring their own bags, that's fine. Let them, but don't force it down people's throats.
Personally, we have an entire cabinet full of plastic bags that we use for different things.
Well, yeah. I mean, every one of my grocery store fucking plastic bags ends up being a fucking bathroom trash sack, like trash can liner, because I refuse to buy small fucking bathroom trash can liner bags when I got a ton of them that you fucking come from the grocery store for free.
Exactly. And I do have reusable bags, so I'm not worried about it when this ban actually goes into full effect. And
but
plus,
I mean, I'm just saying.
I make these fucking bags too, so.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that now if I live there, now my source of free bathroom trash bags is no longer. I don't want to have to pay for the little bitty trash can bags. Damn it.
So then this person says that this Powell person, who I guess is a mayoral candidate, said she thought the decision to ban plastic was rushed, and the time spent banning plastic takes away from time that can be spent on bigger issues in the community.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, if you're only paying your cops $40,000 a year, they are being severely underpaid on a national average. Cops around here, in a major town. I mean, how many people live in Gainesville?
Let me Google that real quick.
Is it over 300,000?
Probably. It's last checked was 1,000. 132,249, and that was in 2017.
Okay, you know, that's not Orlando or Jacksonville.
No, Jacksonville has almost 900,000.
Okay, but Gainesville is about the same size as Denton, population-wise. Let me look right now, and I got to remember that 60,000 of Denton's population is transient. So, yeah, it's actually the exact same size as Denton. I'm going to tell you this, because Denton's 136,000, and, you know, Gainesville's 132.
Check at two different times. One of them says 132,000. Another one says 40,000.
No, I'm going to go with 132,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
And I'm going to be okay. Denton cops.
Oh, okay. Going by Georgia or Gainesville, Georgia.
Yeah. No, we're going Florida. That's because that's what we're talking about.
No, I clicked on it and I realized what it was.
All right. Well, okay. So we're talking about two towns approximately the same size.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to say that this is what it's going to say. What I'm saying is, Denton cops make about, I want to say, let me see. I'm looking at this because I know that, yeah, let's look up their salary, but I have a pretty good idea. They start at 49,000. According to their salary, their own salary fucking site, and that's a patrol officer, and they top out at 57,000, and the average is 53,000. So, you know, if we're going to talk about that, I mean, it's the same size. But we're talking about what, a fucking 8,000 a year fucking salary difference?
Yeah.
And that's and the thing is that Denton has the same stupid progressive fucking idiots in charge. I mean, I'm surprised they still get plastic bags when I go to Kroger and Walmart.
Let's see. People in Gainesville, Florida. Population in Gainesville is 130,128. I'm not sure when this was posted. I'm not seeing a date right now. There's 2,113 people per square mile.
That's not really an error.
The median age is 25.1, which is not surprising.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is none of those stats really matter. What matters is median income. Because remember, for those of you that rent, as soon as they jack the property tax up, they're going to, guess what's going to happen? Your fucking rent's going up. You know?
I mean, I can look at the...
and by the way, they tax commercial properties like apartments a lot higher than they do fucking regular.
Wanted to know the median household income? 39,000.
Okay, that's a bit on the low side, but it is the South, and it's a college
town. Average household income is 58,000. And the average household net worth is 330,000.
That's low, but then again, you've got a lot of college kids to push it down. Because I'm sorry, if you're getting a gender studies degree and you're waiting tables, you need to be expected to be poor.
Well, also another thing is that a lot of the like minimum wage jobs here, they almost all have high turnover rates. And that's because, and they like that because after a year of being at the job, you get benefits, blah, blah, blah. The company has to pay out. But if they're hiring college students and the college students leave for, let's say, the summer and then come back, they have to find a different job because, of course, that company's not going to hold their position. So
I'm going to put it this way. I don't have any sympathy for fucking
fast food workers.
Yeah.
I only know this because I've worked fast food.
Hello?
Fuck. You guys can do this every goddamn day.
Yeah, I mean.
Sort of like 7-Eleven.
I work fast food too. You know.
Yeah, so do I. Didn't work out well for me. Got an allergic reaction.
I didn't enjoy fast food because, to be honest, I didn't feel it was worth the money. See what the problem was when I was working there, because of my size, they were using me like a gorilla. They were having me move all the heavy shit. They were really, they were getting a lot for their money, and I guess that's probably why I didn't have a good experience in fast food, because every time I was in there, it was, okay, flip the burgers and make the fries. It's scoop. Can you lift this? Can you move this? Can you do this? Can you do that? I was basically there as like a schlep, which that's Yiddish slang for a person who just moves shit all day. So they had me schlepping shit all over the, let me see, it was a McDonald's I think I was working at. I was maybe 15 or 16 years old. And I come home and the old man was, what's the matter? Dad, I don't want to work on this this fast food no more. Oh, what's the matter? You don't like to work? I said, no, it's not that. It ain't worth it. I said, the value isn't there. He liked that I figured out that there was no value working for them because of they were real. I hate saying this, but my experience with McDonald's is they exploit the living fuck out of their employees. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem I've had with working in a lot of places in the private sector. I've been fortunate because of demographics. I could just find something that's not corporate around here. I could easily go find something working at a loading dock, or if I didn't have, academic things I could actually pursue. But if I had to do something physically, there are options I have. So not as much, unfortunately, because of how demographics have started to shift, I should say, because moving in all these folks from other parts of the world illegally, and they don't like to hire people that aren't of their own ilk. I hate saying that, but, you're hard strapped to find an El Salvadorian boss with a bunch of Irishmen working for him, other way around all the time, So it kind of sucks when the neighborhoods change a little bit because it becomes hard to find work because they push you out. Otherwise, that's why I never really went back to fast food. I said, fuck it. Fast food isn't as bad as retail. Retail is bad. And you know what's bad about retail? The co-workers, never the customers. I never had any problems with the customers. To be fair, they were all fat housewives who were probably horny as hell. That's probably why they were all nice to me. But, yeah, co-workers.
They want some cookie dough.
Well, I'm gonna be blunt. Retail does attract the dumbest motherfuckers on the face of the planet.
Yeah. Well, you know what it was, too? You got to remember, this was the late 90s, back when I was working retail. I was working with all the proto-SJWs, like all the people who became professors and taught the SJWs. That's who I was working with. So, I can guarantee, I bet a kidney, that's how sure I am, that not one person I worked with at some of these retail stores, not one of these people voted for the president. I guarantee you.
Oh, no. These are the same people that think they deserve $15 an hour.
They can get $15 an hour. Let them go dig a foundation by hand.
And I'm going to be honest, folding fucking clothes and giving me attitude when I'm in your fucking store because you don't want to be there does not earn you $15 an hour.
Yeah.
You do not deserve the fucking wage of a construction worker. You do not deserve 85% of the wage of a fucking paramedic. In fact, if you're morbidly obese, you know what? why are you being a whiny bitch about fucking minimum wage? Because let's be honest, you're probably, when you have your first heart attack, going to throw the back out of some fucking paramedic.
Yeah. You know, I hate saying this, but I think you and I were talking about this the other day, the way I look at it. And I'm not trying to obviously put them on the same playing field when I say I compare servicemen and civil servants. I mean, you're not going to send a bunch of construction workers in to save somebody, you know, from a hostage situation. You need professionals for that. That's why you use military trained people. But I digress. That's a job just as much as any form of civil service. And the reason I'm saying this is these kids don't understand that level of commitment of having to get up every day and do hard work. And
I mean, let's look at it. Most of these kids couldn't fucking go through the fire academy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some fucking hard work. I mean, I don't want to drag hoses for a living.
Yeah.
And I mean, and paramedics. I mean, look at it this way: if you are a fucking paramedic, you know what? Here's the thing. There is a pretty good chance. You know. You know, there's a pretty good chance that 90% of the calls you're going to go to are going to be morbidly obese fuckers that weigh like 400 pounds, and you're going to have to throw them on a gurney. And these are the same fat fuckers going, the government doesn't give me enough. No, you know what? You fucking had enough. Okay? You know what? You know what? I'm sick of government welfare, and I'm going to be blunt about it. You know what? Fuck it. If you can't provide for yourself, fucking starve to death. You know, government needs to stop taking care of fucking these degenerate shits.
Yeah.
Work. And they're like, well, you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Really? Because, you know, I've seen plenty of people do it, so, you know.
Real quick.
Stop making excuses and do something.
Baby brother.
Yeah.
Look at the screen.
Yeah, I see it.
All right. So you remember that 7-foot-long gator we saw?
Yeah.
You want to hear what it would sound like?
Don't they sound like a hiss? Yeah. A hiss. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You never heard one of those things before?
I've only heard them hiss, but now I'm hearing da 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 in my head.
Oh man, have you ever heard one do when they make the water bubble when they're trying to attract a mate?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, but I've heard their babies bark.
Oh yeah.
Little gators go. They fucking. But
No,
you know what? You know what the best
They
sound
don't bark
gator
like a
makes?
dog. It's they don't bark like a dog, but it's called a bark.
Yeah, but you know what the best sound a gator makes is?
What?
The sizzle on the grill.
Yeah, the sound of it on a fucking grill.
I knew exactly where you were going.
I haven't had gator in years.
Well, the best part of it's the tail. I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
No, I know. We
Gator meat po' boys are the shit.
Oh, I know. There's a place
That's
by me
smart.
that actually has gators. Yeah, my brother always swore by them. Rattlesnake, though, that was his favorite. He said he would sit there and rave about rattle.
It tastes like chicken.
Yeah, he would say he'd say get yourself some teriyaki and just baste the rattlesnake and have it on the spit. He says delicious. Told him I said I'm not eating anything. It looks like a big dick. What the fuck's the matter with you?
Well, see, the best thing about alligators is you skin them to make a new pair of boots, and you grill up the rest of the damn thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a video with gators making water boil.
Boil?
Yeah.
Is put on a spectacular mating display.
Easy,
sit
Patrick.
in the water, so their backs are just below the surface and make really low frequency sounds. And the consequence of that is that water droplets on their back look like they're dancing. And it soon becomes a water dance-off. As
Are they water bending?
by distinct females.
I've never really had any desire to be close to a...
To see the spectacles, so they think there's a larger male close by. And that requires speakers even bigger than a camper van.
Check out the size of them speakers.
Produce sounds of 19 hertz, the same deep frequency as the alligators bellow at. So let's see if they can entice a
I
grumpy
would have loved to have those speakers in college.
flirting.
So that's it. Those are the big infrasound speakers. Send the alligators react.
Here we go.
Oh, straight over there, tail up in the air, getting ready to call.
I'd like to point out that if it goes too much longer, it's going to.
Yeah, that's why I keep jumping.
Bellow from their mouths.
Like hearing voices.
And the water dance.
That's so cool.
Although we can't hear it,
It says boiling the water.
No, it's just bubbles making it pop. It's not
Well,
actually.
it's water droplets. It's called Gator water dancing, or Gators making the water boil. It depends on who it is.
Okay, so they're not actually using sound to boil the fucking water.
No, they're using sound to make the water dance.
Okay.
Bubbles go up. That's about all there is to it. And no, it's not heating the water to the point where the water boils.
The
I
hell?
mean, I can see how they would call it boiling the water,
Yeah.
but that term is really misleading.
It's a folk term.
Yeah.
Because if they were physically boiling the water, that would be, you know.
Oh, and here's the whole thing about the frozen alligators.
That would be an alligator sauna.
I think I told you, like, the local name that we have for a toadfish around here is a hacklehead. You know, local. We got a lot of local terms for that. Like bluefish, they call around here. They call those snappers.
Has anybody talked about the fucking Adriana, whatever her name is, fucking tattoo snafu?
Oh yeah, we.
Where it's actually fake.
No, it's not fake. She fucked up as usual because she's a fucking idiot and got charcoal grill tattooed on her hand.
Oh yeah, someone also got a tattoo on their face that was, I guess it was supposed to be Justin Bieber.
No, some douche from One Direction.
And
I don't ever want to hear about One Direction ever again. There has beens.
all right, here's where
Some douche from Bone Direction.
Well, what, he got a tattoo though? What was it supposed to be? The guy with the tattoo of One Direction. What was it?
It was a girl.
It was a chick got it tattooed on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And then it later came out it was henna. We get it tattooed on.
It's a temporary tattoo.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Don't ever get facial tattoos. Unless you're unless you're a millionaire and you can actually hold on to your fucking money. because guess what? If you're a rapper, you're gonna be broke 5 seconds after your last album stops making money. Because
what about that chick that got all the tattoos of stars on her face?
Dude, she's fucking probably sucking down a government fucking paycheck too, meaning fucking
welfare.
Yeah. So I mean, I think if you get something that bars you from being employed, you should also be barred, like some sort of disfiguring shit, then maybe you should be barred from getting welfare as well. Because that is true. And you can say, well, that's not fair. And I'm like, dude, it's clearly fake. It's clearly a choice. If you want to get fuck Trump tattooed across your goddamn forehead, then you know what? Maybe you shouldn't get welfare. I'm just saying, you know.
Oh, I'm in agreement with the whole thing of if you're going to get any tattoos from, let's say, the collarbone up, you don't deserve to get a job. You know, take a short sleeve shirt, put it on, mark where that sleeve stops. You shouldn't get any tattoos from that point down.
Well, okay, but sleeves are acceptable in a lot of fields. But facial tattoos, yeah, you know, because here's the thing: you can cover up a sleeve with a long sleeve shirt. You know, you can cover up a full length sleeve with a long sleeve shirt. So if you can't cover it up with a long sleeve shirt with a collar, you probably shouldn't get it. And you can say, "Oh, that's not fair." That's not fair. That's discrimination. No. You know what? It's not discriminating if you made the fucking choice. If you chose to get a flaming fucking penis on your fucking forehead, you know, and you wonder why nobody wants to hire you, guess what? You made a choice. Maybe you shouldn't have gotten a flaming fucking penis tattooed on your forehead.
I know there was a woman who got a penis tattooed onto her chest.
Yep.
Well, you know, that's on their, to be honest, that's on their chest. So, you know.
It says something like best.
Well, no, you'll see it above a shirt.
Tara, take a look at what I just sent you.
I'm waiting for my Discord to decide to respond.
Ah, okay. You'll get a kick out of this if you've never seen it before.
Also, Tara, I saw that part, like what they do to hibernate, like stick their noses out of the water. I've seen that one before.
Yeah. I'm actually glad that I seen that. That, not to sound like too much of a nerd, that actually helps me with the game I'm designing. I didn't know that they could do that.
Wait, what game are you designing?
I'm designing an RPG, something along the lines of like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder. But the problem I have with those games, believe it or not, I tell people this, and like people look at me, they're like, "Wow, you're a nerd," and we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm telling you, you're a nerd. But like one of the things that bothers me about those games was the ecosystems, and people always like, "You realize we're talking about fantasy?" I'm like, yeah, but it still has to operate within a certain parameters, yeah. You know, like that. I would watch like some of these, you know, I mean, unless you're going to say, well, physics doesn't exist here, because that's the only way like certain things can happen on these planets. Like when you see the planets, like in the movie Predators, and I'm looking at all those different planets that are so close to the planet that they're on. I'm like, huh, okay. Somebody's going to have to explain the gravity to me.
They could be moons around a gas giant.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But my point is then, okay, explain the gravity, the atmosphere. I mean, it's just one of those things. There was so many variables that presented. I mean, that was actually my favorite part of the whole movie was the skyscape, where you actually see what they, you know, that they're on a planet that's not Earth.
Well, yeah, I mean, what was great about that, it told them how fucked they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, there is no choppa waiting for you.
Well, you know what the main concern I would have, actually, when you're on a planet like that, this is the okay. Here we go. This is where the nerdery comes in. What is ingesting all that alien flora and fauna going to do to human physiology? Is it going to cause mutation? And before anyone thinks I'm talking like District 9, no, I don't mean mutation like that. I'm talking like mutation is in like cancer, as in like activating genes that were turned off. So you could actually like develop Hodgkin's lymphoma or any other number of things. Nothing's too science fiction. I digress, actually. God knows what the hell you're ingesting. There might actually be science fiction-y side effects, which is another thing.
I think that, like, you can chalk that up to the Predator's honor code, because they don't like to hunt something that's too sick to fight back. So they probably make sure it's safe for their prey.
All right, I'm guessing it would be you'd be on a planet that's full of carbon-based life forms. But again, this is the thing: you don't know what you're ingesting. So it's, I don't know. I mean, they'd have to probably populate it with fauna that would be from this planet that we would actually consume. The same thing with flora. Like it, I don't. That's just, you know, this is like part of coming back to what I was talking about with the game design of the game I'm designing. Like, again, you can look at the movie Predators. Okay, you're dropping these creatures in the surroundings. They're probably not going to start eating random shit that's alien. So you would actually have to probably populate the planet then with native flora and fauna. Now, this is then another thing. Other than the alien hounds that they were using, let's say that this planet actually was populated with flora and fauna that was brought there from the Earth. You know, that's a consideration you have to have, like you said, because what if they're trying to keep it in a controlled environment that they can hunt these people? So that to me would make the most sense. And here comes the dog to make noise. I hate this fucking mutt. But
hey, Patches.
It's not Patches. It's my mother's dog, Peanut.
Oh, you hate this one?
It's not. You know what it is? Because she just got the dog a few months ago when her other dog passed, and this one's a Chihuahua, and it's loud as fuck, and you go to try to pet it, and it not only does it bite you and draw blood, it tries to rip off your fingers.
See, that's the thing with little fucking dogs, dude. They think they fucking weigh, all of them think they weigh 500 fucking pounds. I mean, like, I've got 3 dogs. One's my wife's, and it's a little gray thingy-mabobber. I don't know what it is. And then I've got 2 Rhodesian Ridgebacks, and the Rhodesian,
beautiful. Yeah,
the Rhodesian Ridgebacks are just chill. I mean, we feed them like goddamn kings because you know, when you buy a chicken, you know, it's like a full roaster. You get like the like, I love to do beer can chicken, and for those of you that aren't familiar with what beer can chicken is, it's a smoker recipe, and the hard part is finding somebody to drink half the beer. But you drink half the beer down, you kind of open up the top a little more, you fill that full of seasoning, and you shove it up the chicken's ass on a stand, and you smoke it in the smoker for like 6 hours. And you paint like butter, like liquefied butter, olive oil, and seasoning on the outside to make the skin crispy, and then you apply barbecue sauce on top of that. So you get this like really tender chicken. But when you get a full roaster, you get the giblets in the middle. And so when I get chickens like that, and I usually do 4 of them at a time, because the chicken stays moist, and I mean, I'm not going to fire up my smoker for one goddamn chicken. And I just really quickly in a frying pan with a little bit of olive oil, cook the giblets, and throw them in the dog bowls with kibble. And, you know, and because I'm really particular about dog food, I spend probably $150 plus on dog food a fucking month, because there's just too much. If you buy your dog shitty dog food, they end up getting fucking disgusting diseases. So, end of rant.
Yeah, we were talking about that before with the dog food. Like, I won't. I used to argue with my sister tooth and nail because, you know, she was giving her dogs that Blue Buffalo, and wound up was Blue Buffalo was the one that was using all the filler from the Chinese, and her dogs wound up getting like 30 pounds worth of tumors apiece because the Chinese were actually adding wood glue to the food so that they could get more weight out of it.
I mean, if you're not buying like 100% organic dog food, and I'm not a big fan of organic shit, I think it's a big fucking racket. But on dog food, yeah. And I also feed my dogs stew meat. Won't feed them hamburger because hamburger's got the pink slime in it. And they get a fair share of ground venison and a few other things, you know. Because there ain't no filler in ground venison.
Yeah, whatever I'm eating, Patches gets the fat from. You know, plus, like if usually I'll try to give him a boiled egg on Sunday, you know, so he gets the whole thing. I try to really take good care of him. You know, I put a drop of olive oil in his food. You know, I try to feed him. You know, a lot of people don't realize you should try to give dogs at least once a month. Try to feed them fish. You know, what's really good is if you can feed a dog fish at least once a week. The same way, like, you know, I tell people you want to feed a dog Catholic. You want to give it fish at least once a week. You know, it's good for them. Give them fish, and you know, like give a dog like maybe a pouch of salmon once a week and a boiled egg.
I don't know. I've got so much catfish in the refrigerator or freezer. It's just usually, we'll throw some of that for extra protein. Throw it in there.
Pat.
Yeah, what's going on, yo?
Not a damn thing, thankfully. How's things with you?
I'm doing all right. I'm still right here watching like Salem witch trial documentary.
Oh yeah, ain't that crazy?
I see. Yeah, because I'm sitting right here, yeah. Like when I get in the mood, I sit up and I watch like these little types of things right here, and just be like, shit, cause they're interesting. Especially like the one I'm watching right now, because they're talking about Matthew Hopkins and shit like that, and I'm looking like how this dude basically work, and I'm just like, man, this dude kind of remind me of like how these opportunists around here, you know, they use fear and paranoia in order to like you know, get people influenced into doing their biddings and shit like that while making money.
Yeah.
And that's what this dude was doing during that damn time. You know, like
yeah, fear mongering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, back in those days and shit like that, you know, like hell.
Yeah, it's the same sort of techniques like what these SJWs are doing, and like what these different people I've seen here on YouTube and on Twitter do to each other with the cutthroat and everything. Mm-hmm. It's groupthink.
Yeah.
It's groupthink, and it's, you know, we're gonna align against you, and it's you're either with us or against us. That's the reason I pulled up my 10 pegs quick. It's not quick enough apparently, but you know, like I look at it this way: it was a bit of a blessing. It was a hard storm. All the shit that I went through over the summer, and the rest of us went through over the summer. You know what? Good, because when it gets worse in the next coming year or so, which I think it's gonna, that's fine. I'm already on the shore. You guys that say the ship is still sinking, you guys can fight over the life raft. You know, I'm not involved in that mess. I look at it that way. Like with those people with their shit, nah. That's why I'm glad, you know, over, done with, wash my hands of it. That's where you gotta be. Like you said, people like Matthew Hopkins and people like with the fear mongering. With you got to do what we want you to do. You know, nah. I already got burned at the stake. I'm charred. I'm crispy. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at it that way. But
yeah, with this guy right here, like I was saying, like, you know, Houston right here, you know, like using all these extreme techniques to get people to confess to being a witch and shit like that.
Yeah.
And for every person he got to confess and they executed and shit like that, you know, he got paid. So it was like for him, that's what I think it was. You know, he was basically using, like I'm saying, you know, like God's name to fearmonger and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about, you know, like, oh, in his mind, you know, he was doing God's work back then. You know how that stuff went back then and stuff like that, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I hate that right there, you know, like me being a Christian, when people use like you know, when people use like God to like, you know, fearmonger people and like doing their business stuff like that, when all they're basically showing is like, you know, they're the evil one, you know.
Yeah. Well, if you knew some of the techniques and the tricks that they used, it's what it is. It's really evil shit. Like a lot of people don't realize. Like it was the Catholics back then because it was before the Reformation. The Reformation actually came from that from during well, actually, no. Excuse me. You were talking about the witch trials. I was thinking about the Inquisition. But they still, I believe that the Christians did use some of the same things that the Catholics had invented, like a couple of hundred years. They did. Okay, one of
I
the
think
tricks.
these are like the Puritans.
Yeah,
yeah, they were the Puritans, not the because the Reformation was about
230 years difference between the beginning of the Inquisition and the end of the witch trials. So I'm guessing the Reformation itself, I believe,
was in 1517 to 1648.
Right. Thank you. So, no, I'm talking about the actual techniques. The Malferus Maleficarum, the book that they had, the Witch's Hammer. The book that they used to deal with them. I'm saying I think it was laid down by Catholic priests, but I believe the Puritans were still using it. But the point I was getting at was at the time of the Inquisition, and even up until that time with the Puritans, education was slowly starting to seep back in. But the church itself had the lion's share of information. They basically, the populace was very highly illiterate. Only the priests tended to be literate. Point of the reason I'm getting at this, one of the things that they would use is they would come in, and if they wanted to prove that somebody was a witch, this is one of the tests they would do. They would put a frog on top of the person's head. Now, if the person was a witch, the frog would turn bright blue. Now, in that part of the world, during their mating season, if you're aware of it, you know that the frogs turn bright blue. So what they would do is they would find which ones are the males, and they knew just putting it on the person's head, having that physical contact, would make this thing light up blue. So they were literally, stacking the deck. Like, okay, fuck this broad. You know what? She's a loudmouth. She don't shut up. Let's get rid of her. Yo, go grab a male frog. Because the populace didn't know this.
Yeah, they were dumb. Like I told you, they were gullible and they were easy to fearmonger.
Yeah, and that's one of the tricks that they would use. And a lot of it, I hate saying it, a lot of the times that they would do this witch, it's not even just that it was politically motivated; it was economically motivated. Well, she's got that large parcel of land left to her by her husband. Shit like that.
Yeah, and it's like besides like doing it for economic value, like how you said, they also did it for like a lot of the people who they basically condemned and stuff like that were what they consider like lower class, like people who wouldn't be like they ain't gonna miss them and all this shit right there. So they kind of saw it as like like thinning out the thinning out the herd.
Midwives and women that just knew about herbs and stuff like that and would heal the sick when the priest had already said, oh, the demon has them by, and, the demon's going to kill them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're talking the actual church. We're talking like the barons and the other people who were like, leading the church in. Like, yes, we need you to come and cleanse the land. Like, think about it. Get rid of the woman who's got like the 4 ample daughters that have all the dowry. Well, mommy's a witch, so you got to marry a church head. They take the shit. There's so many different angles that. Well, it was a disgusting hustle. Most of it. I mean. There was definitely people who believed in that shit. Like, I myself was raised Catholic, and I got more than enough love for Jesus, but some of these folks are nuts. So it's not that hard of an extrapolation to see that they would buy into this shit hook, line, and sinker and go after people fully believing it, especially back then when you didn't even have any of the information at hand that we have. So, yeah. You think about it. People back then, methane escaping from graves used to have like a greenish hue. They used to think that the person in the grave was possessed by a demon named Bifrons, and they used to actually cut up. They'd exhume the body and dismember it so that the person couldn't rise from the grave. That's one of the things that I believe that was in medieval England that they used to do that.
They also did it in Transylvania and Romania because they felt that it was the undead. It was
vampires. Yes, vampires. It was a specifically. Well, no, that's a whole different belief system. That's actually based off of porphyria, which is a disease of the blood. But the thing with I'm talking about specifically because at the time, one, it was the combination of the British diet and also the climate and the geology of the ground that they were sticking these people in. The graves would literally like turn into methane pits, and the bodies would swell up, and you'd have this green smoke. Like you remember, like in Christmas Vacation, when the sewer was had that green light coming out of it because Eddie was pumping all the shit into it. In the movie Christmas Vacation?
No, I've never seen that movie.
You never seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
No, I don't like National Lampoon.
No,
wow.
Oh God.
I never seen it.
How have you not seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation? That's
I've
a
never
classic.
seen a National Lampoon movie, period.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Well, he's young as fuck, too, so, you know.
So, no, I don't fucking like it.
All right. Point is, methane has like a greenish hue to it.
Yes.
Yeah, so people would see this green shit escaping from the graves. They'd exhume the grave, and they'd see this swollen, bloated corpse, and they thought it was a corpse possessed by a demon. And they'd cut open this foul-smelling corpse to dismember it, and this thing would basically burst, and there'd be green smoke everywhere. And oh my God, it's the demons! And they didn't realize it's just you didn't properly dispose of the body, so this is what you're dealing with. It's basically like it's basically like opening up a fridge that ain't been opened in 2 years.
My God. Can you imagine, like I'm saying, if old school time met modern times today, how that shit would react?
Yeah, seriously.
Like we could actually bring some of these Salem witch trial motherfuckers back to the days and shit right there and see how they fucking react. Like,
you have to kill them in self-defense. Like they would come at you. They would be convinced that you were the devil. They'd be convinced that because you're not reacting the same way they are, which is horrified. Mm-hmm. So you're not horrified, so you got to be evil. Like that's literally how because you're not sitting there curled up in a ball praying because what is this light, this magic light coming from everywhere? What are all these sounds? What are these horseless vehicles? Why are they all walking around with those things in their hand that light up and have what are those pictures? What are those sounds coming out of those? It would be overload for them. And then think about, oh my God, can you imagine if they landed either here in New York or over in Cali with the SJW?
Ooh, oh God, man.
Yeah. I'll forget about it. You see, their eyes would turn blood red from every vessel in their skull bursting.
Yeah.
They would not be able to process it.
Dude, I'd fucking pay to see that.
Oh man, I couldn't imagine that sort of sensory overload in one shot. You got to realize people back then, their brains were different than ours because they ate differently, and they didn't like deal with the same sort of shit that we've done. Think about it. For the past 40 years, I've been like bombarded with electronics, especially living here. Like when I would go with my sisters into Times Square in the 80s when I was a kid. So growing up around shit of that nature. And then let's say you take somebody from, like rural Uganda, and you just drop this poor motherfucker in the middle of Times Square. Oof, forget about it. He's going to look around like, what the fuck? He's not gonna know what the hell's going on. He's gonna be like, "Holy shit!" Do you ever see the movie they had when they brought the guys here from Papua New Guinea? Well, there was some show like with the natives. I think it was on like NBC or Channel 2. My wife's Democrat family, like she dragged me to Sunday dinner, and these fucking people would watch this hokey shit. But they dragged these natives from like Papua New Guinea or whatever. I mean, like straight up natives, man. Like the guys wearing grass skirts and shit. And, like they gave them jeans and T-shirts and baseball hats and brought them to America. And the whole time they're here, it's the same thing. They're asking, they're like, what do you think? They're like, I'm overwhelmed. Like for 6 fucking weeks, I'm overwhelmed. Like, you're like, okay, yeah, we got it. You guys never seen fucking a wheel. Okay, cool. I mean, I don't know how the fuck they got like a 12-week show out of this shit, but it was like they were taking these guys mini golfing and shit. And they're sitting there and they're like mesmerized by the mini golf thing. I'm saying, look it up. Since you're interested in seeing something like that, you definitely got to check this shit out.
Yeah, it'd probably be the same. Like I said, you take one of these entitled, SJWs and shit like that, and you drop them off in one of these like Aboriginal countries and shit like that, with no electronics, with no, I'm saying, with none of this bullshit that they got stuff right there, they'd lose their shit. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But the problem with that comparison is there's really not any countries like that exist anymore.
Yeah. Like, you drop those poor, oh man, I wouldn't want to do that to the poor Aborigines, but you know what, there is that one island off the coast of India.
Sri Lanka?
No, what's the one with the plane?
I know who you're talking about. They killed a Christian minister.
Yeah, he went there to try to convert them, and they shot him with an arrow when he landed his raft. You drop these kids off there. Dude,
those fuckers will shoot at a helicopter that flies by.
That's what I'm saying. Give these kids a raft. You know what? Give these kids a raft and tell them something that'll get them over there. Like, tell them that tell them that the natives said there's only two genders.
No, tell them that they don't know how oppressed they are.
Yeah. Tell them that the natives said that there's only two genders, and that men need to earn more money. That's all.
I'm saying, as somebody that's traveled the world, a lot of that shit is just mythos bullshit.
Yeah.
These people just don't. I don't know how to put it this way. A lot of these people are like, "Oh no, you can't." There's this, that. I'm like, no. You go to these places, they have electronics, they have this shit. I mean, it's the idea of an Aboriginal culture with fucking noble savages is it's been a fucking myth forever, because there's nothing noble about savages to begin with. But sorry, if you like to eat people, or anything to that thing, and you know what, fuck off and die. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I kind of I realized that when I was watching Jamie Foxx's stand-up about, oh God, it's got to be like 15 years ago now, but he was saying, he's like, I went to Africa. He's like, I got all thrilled. He's like, I'm thinking I'm getting to Africa. He's like, it's going to be like old jungle and shit, and, my people, and we're going to be, everyone's going to be like wearing the grass skirts and spears and shit. He's like, I got there, it was like Detroit. He's like, there was just an elephant every once in a while.
I mean, in all honesty, it's a little worse than Detroit, but, not by much. I mean, Africa's a shithole. But there are.
The civilized part of Africa.
Yeah.
No, I mean, all over Africa, it's a shithole. But it does have paved roads thanks to white people. It does have buildings over one story thanks to white people, and colonization of it. But you'll never hear that. It's, oh, they fucking raped my heritage. No, fuck you. You know what your heritage was? You lived in a mud hut that can be shot through with a 308.
No, they lived in a shit hut.
That's a mud hut, dude. And the FNAL turned it from fucking cover to concealment, okay? Let's be honest. Africans would have been perfectly happy living in the Stone Age until they figured out that electricity is cool. And air conditioning keeps them from stinking so bad. I probably said something racist and offended people. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I am part African, but fuck it. I'm just going to sit here and just take it. No, because honestly, I know that's part of the reason that Grandma's family got the fuck up off of North Africa and they moved to Sicily, which wasn't exactly like an upswing for them. It's like, okay, let's move from the frying pan to the fire. I really hate saying it, but everything south of the Mediterranean, especially since, oh God, past 200-300 years, has been downhill for the Mediterranean, North Africa, everything south of the Nile. It's been hard. It really has been hard. And now you got the Chinese over there. Really.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the UN doing?
Oh, of course. Dude, the UN is nothing more than a bully, a pulpit for bullies. Let's be honest. Okay, if there was white countries over there doing what the fucking Chinese are, it's evil fucking colonization. But if it's if it's the Chinese, which are basically even doing worse, they're just, it's what do you want to call it? It's oh, they're helping them. No, the fucking Chinese are fucking. First of all, the Chinese culture is not benevolent in any way, shape, or form. They're over there. They're going to use them up. They're going to rape them for their resources. They're going to do absolutely the minimum amount of improvements needed. Basically, they're going to fix the shit white people built 100 years ago to get those resources out. And then when they're done, they're going to leave them in the shit to get what they to go back basically to the Stone Age within one generation.
The biggest problem I've always had, because I've been following the African wars since I was a kid, because it was one of those things I remember, like, I guess because, when you're a kid, you're watching G.I. Joe and you're thinking to yourself, why doesn't President Reagan just send people in there to help them? Like, that's really what you think when you're a kid. And so it was one of those things I was always curious, why the fuck doesn't anyone help over there? But then you start to look into it, and the problem is the fucking warlords. Is any time that there's enough resources that get stored up, there's always some group that wants to vie for power, and they want to take power, and they go after, and it's really infuriating and frustrating. I remember.
I'm gonna be blunt. The best thing to happen to Africa for stability was white people. Ooh, that's gonna fucking burn some fucking feathers, but I don't give a shit. I mean, look at it. I mean, look at Rhodesia. Look at South Africa. Look at South Africa under white rule. Both of those countries had fucking legitimately second world economies, on par with a European nation. And then you go back to black control, and you get you get the whole fucking, within a generation, within 2 or 3 years, you have massive economic collapse. Why? Because of African fucking tribalism and promoting people that are complete and total fucking morons into positions of power. And they're like, but they're from my tribe. And then they're going to promptly go kill the other tribe. I mean, Ian Douglas Smith warned about this when he was talking about the Metabili situation. And then what did fucking Uncle Bob do? The Metabili massacre. So, Africa is better off colonized. And I'm going to say that. It's better off under colonial rule than self-government.
I hate saying this, but I was watching the thing today about India. And I believe it was The Alternative Hypothesis is the name of the channel. And it was this, I've seen this man speak, this Indian gentleman. And I'm not going to lie, I have a bias as somebody who, had worked in radio. I've always had a bias for naturally born Indian folks who spoke the English language. Just their enunciation of the language is absolutely beautiful to hear. Seriously, it's like velvet. But I digress. I was watching him talk. I was watching this guy propagandize about India, and then I was watching the alternate hypothesis was unpacking what this Indian guy was saying, and he just shredded him. Just completely shredded all of the horse shit that he was saying. And I didn't even realize how bad off India was until, I hate saying this, until the British basically came and saved them, because a lot of people don't know India had a series of very bad imperial wars up until the British colonized them. Basically, India in the Middle Ages was Europe after World War II. Obviously not due to nuclear war, but just, the amount of carnage that ripped through India. And I really hate saying this as Westerners, India is one of those, it's a subcontinent, and we never talk about their history. A lot of people don't know about it at all, but what India went through, the British were technically like a godsend to them. It's you don't like saying it, especially now with like all these bloodthirsty leftists who they immediately want to infer that you're talking about them because of XYZ. When meanwhile I'm saying no, it's ABC. I'm saying, man, it's not XYZ. It's like they like what I'm saying. It's like literally if the British didn't come, the Indians, their culture probably would have completely collapsed. It would have been nothing but ruins. Like how most of there's parts of Greece that are just completely abandoned because the culture just collapsed and they moved to different parts of the islands. It's the same thing would have happened, but spread out throughout the entire continent. The video I was watching earlier today, I'm like, oh wow, I never even knew that about India. I just think I hate saying this, and it's because I grew up as a teenager in the early 90s, but you hear India, all you think of is sitar music and fucking marijuana and people riding around on the backs of elephants with fucking flowers and shit. You think everything is chill. You don't realize that was a brutal friggin' warring country. Like on some like...
When I think of India, I think of fucking abject poverty. I think of a country that smells like fucking shit, because it does. And I think of rampant corruption, because it is. I don't think of a chill country. I think of a country that still has its problems, the same massive problems it had after the British pulled out, which is a fucking Muslim population warring with the Hindu population.
Yeah. Which gave us the founding of Pakistan.
And then the founding of Bangladesh. Because Pakistan was originally on both sides of India at the split, and because where Bangladesh was, they were basically left to starve. Yeah. So India backed Pakistan, or backed Bangladesh in their war for independence with Pakistan proper, because Indians and Pakistanis hate each other.
Yeah.
And the only time they get along is when they're playing in their annual cricket grudge match. But the only time India's ever won a war has been against Pakistan. So, and then you have the whole thing of, Pakistanis being fucking ridiculously overly proud of themselves. Honest to God, that part of the world is a fucking shithole too. I mean, India is as big as it is economically because it has cornered the market on the call-in tech support fucking market and cheap tech. I mean, shitty fucking goods. I mean, what's Pakistan? What's Pakistan fucking export other than a couple of cheap fucking MP5 clones that are actually decent. And goddamn fucking cheap swords that people go to the mall and buy and go, look, I have a katana. It was made by a fucking master smith in Japan. No, that's fucking cheap fucking Pakistani steel, you fucking ignorant fuck. All right?
Isn't there other major exports silicone wafer chips?
Cheap mall knives. That's what fucking Pakistan exports.
And silicone wafer chips, right?
No, they don't do any high-tech manufacturing. It's all fucking cheap swords and shit. And some tea. I've never seen anything high-tech come out of fucking Pakistan.
What country was it then? That was one of those, believe it or not, one of the stands over there. And for anyone who doesn't know, stand just means land of. But one of the stands over there, I remember one of them was actually manufacturing some sort of high-tech shit. Obviously not good. It was kind of like low-tech, high-tech. It was knockoff. Was it Uzbekistan?
Maybe. I mean, okay, here's the thing.
It was knockoff Russian tech is what it was.
All right, here's the thing about Uzbekistan. During the Soviet Union, Uzbeks were only allowed to join when they had to do their conscript service. Were only allowed to be in labor battalions because even the Russians didn't trust these people.
Yeah. I just find the way that the world breaks up at that, like once you get to the Middle East and Asia, like how it changes slowly from like different country to whole different like demographic shift and culture. It blows my mind. as somebody who minored in anthropology, the multitude, the variety, it amazes me. You know, I guess that's why I'm a people person. Like all that, just that part of the world, how you can have like, just you can travel a few hours in each direction, and it's like a whole different world. I suppose I'm romanticizing it a little bit too much.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like, I just didn't have the money. They have that big festival. It's going on in India right now. Have you guys seen this festival? Everyone dances in the streets, and they throw all this like powdered dye up in the air, and it's like all these different colors. Yeah,
rock dust, and quite frankly, I'm not fascinated with the Indian culture like the way a lot of people, other people are. I'm like, yeah, great. It's an Indian culture, great.
Wait, what's Indian culture?
Shit. Country smells like shit.
Okay, that one.
Yeah.
And after watching a few Indian YouTubers and their goddamn fucking video Geography for Racist and a couple years ago, I became thoroughly disgusted.
Oh, that bitch.
Yeah.
I became thoroughly disgusted with the fucking Indian fucking shit.
You know, that video really upset me. You know, just if you look at her, that girl is beautiful. And
the thing that ticks me off is she's like, and my tax bracket pays for your child's education. No, bitch, I'm in the same fucking tax bracket as you. Second of all, shut the fuck up, because you've obviously never been to India, because she's not even from India. She's from Canada, but she's from a degenerate form of Indians that are exiled to the islands of Trinidad and Tobago.
I thought she was Pakistani.
No, she's Indian. But she's actually from Trinidad. So, you know, whatever. Basically, if you know anything about Indians, they also form a population of Trinidad and Tobago, but they're like the shitty ones. They're like the trailer park Indians. And she's so impressed that she's worth a lot. So I'm like, oh my God. First of all, people would pay you. Because anybody that's ever been to India would not say it smells nice or smells like curry, because it doesn't. Most of like Mumbai, which would be, you know, formerly known as Bombay, right? Which is the major city where you're going to go into, smells like fucking shit. It literally smells like fucking shit, because there are fucking over 1 million people pooping in the street.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, he's not lying.
For a country that it makes so much profit, it is literally controlled by less than 1% of the population, and a huge chunk of the population lives in abject fucking poverty, and they do not have indoor plumbing. So what they do when they need to fucking shit, they go pop a shot and squat and poop in the fucking street.
Wow, I'd at least walk the 50 feet into the woods, but whatever. But
see, that's the problem.
Oh, God,
they're in the middle of fucking Bombay. There's no fucking walking 50 feet into the woods.
Yeah. What were you saying, Pat?
No, I'm just right here reading it. Like, yeah, Tara, you see the tweet I just sent you?
No, I haven't looked at my Twitter in a few minutes.
Oh, Lord. So it's like this tweet from CBS News talking about these girls just made history today as one of the first official all-girl troops to join the Scout BSAs. I'm like, you know how that shit's been going around, like how, you know, like you got the, you know what I'm saying, you got like these handful of girls trying to join the, you know, the the Boy Scouts and shit like that and everything for equality and all that yada yada shit that they've been preaching.
That's what the fucking Girl Scouts are for. And the fact that the Girl Scouts got away from doing exactly what the Boy Scouts do is on the fucking commission of the Girl Scouts.
Yeah, but now it's like
it's not the goddamn fucking. It's okay. I'm sorry that your little scouting organization turned nothing more than a fucking cookie selling fucking racket. That's not my goddamn problem.
right now they basically got it right now. Like I'm saying, these two girls done freaking joined the Boy Scouts and shit like that. And they said now starting today, all girls in the US can now join the Boy Scouts. And I'm like, what?
Well, it's gone to the point of to be so far as they basically said it's no longer called the Boy Scouts. It's now called the Scouts.
Yeah, it's now just called the Scouts and all that right there. And what's really going to happen is like it's like I think it was like that from the get go and stuff like that, which is the reason like I'm saying why they created the Girl Scouts, because they just got tired of like I don't know. It's just so goddamn fucked up. It's like
this is all a secret plot for the Boy Scouts to co-opt the Girl Scout cookies. That's all it is, man.
I don't know. It's like and then I don't.
It also has to do with the left's agenda. That previous statement was a joke. This one's not. It has to do with the left's agenda to demasculate America because they want soy boys. They want man bun having, fucking scraggly beard motherfucking having, motherfuckers that cannot change a fucking tire, beta males. Because everything else is toxic masculinity. And if
you get that right there, what's gonna happen? A strong ass nation is gonna see y'all weak ass and come over here and take us goddamn over. And that's what they fail to understand right there. And plus, I know a lot of this shit has to do with feminism because feminists don't want to up their up their scale to achieve all the shit that they want to achieve in life and shit like that they claim is owned by motherfucking dude. But it's like hell, they can't reach the motherfucking standards. So now they're just basically trying to infiltrate anything they can to try to to lower the standards to their damn level, so they don't have to rise theirs and shit. So plus, it's like how it is.
I'm gonna be very blunt here. Women do not belong in combat arms. Period. The end. Done. Actually, I'm gonna go as far as saying women do not belong in the military.
I'm not gonna say that, but but it's like when you see like some of these situations, like it's kind of like they just want to see like what the hell's going on with the guys and shit like that when they like get together. Like when you see like girls, who want to join these these boys clubhouses and shit like that. When all we're just basically in there just bullshitting, just hell and just being guys. Then they infiltrate.
Feminism wants to stick its fucking dirty fucking nose in everybody. They want to infiltrate everything because everything you can do, we can do better. No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Males have more upper body strength by fucking nature.
The wild part is when the girls do finally get into the boys thing and stuff like that, what do? They come in there trying to change everything to they fucking liking, which basically chases the boys away. So they go rebuild another club and shit like that, leaving them with that club. And what happened? That shit falls to pieces because they don't know what the fuck to do. That's why I feel like what it is like with the Boy Scouts and things like that. It's like now the Girl Scouts can do exactly the exact same thing that the Boy Scouts are doing and shit like that, but the motherfucking female scouts don't want to goddamn do that motherfucking bullshit. So now they just want to send these girls over here to
Okay, what it is that a lot of these fucking Girl Scout leaders don't know how to camp. They don't know how to sew. They don't know how to do most of the shit that the Boy Scouts were taught when the Girl Scouts was created. When I was in Girl Scouts, we went camping a lot, and they wouldn't let us learn how to make a fire. And I looked at them, I'm like, but this is part of learning how to be a scout. And they're like, well, we're Girl Scouts, so we always come more prepared than the Boy Scouts. We always have a lighter with us. I'm like,
oh god,
no, I want to learn how to use the string and the two sticks. I want to do the whole rubbing sticks together thing. That's why I joined the Girl Scouts. Oh no, we have lighters. Okay, thank the gods I already know how to do this because my stepdad taught me. Okay, so we're going on a trip. We're at literally a lake where you're allowed to fish. I have my fishing rod with me, my tackle box, my fucking fillet knife, everything. I have everything with me. I'm like, okay, so when are we going fishing? Oh, we don't do that. Boy Scouts do that. And that's part of the reason why girls are wanting to go into Boy Scouts is because the Girl Scouts are nothing.
A cookie selling mafia.
Has anyone ever seen Troop Beverly Hills from the early 90s?
I've seen what?
Troop Beverly Hills. It's a movie.
I don't think I.
Okay, it's pretty much these.
Belly long.
Yes, thank you. You know exactly what movie I'm talking about. These girls from Beverly Hills are in the Scouts, and all they learn how to do is like shop and stuff like that. And they're getting their badges for it. But what ends up happening is they end up getting into this like competition with other troops in their area, and they have to learn how to camp and scout and do the real shit. And all Girl Scouts has turned into is fucking Beverly, Scout Beverly Hills. That's it.
And the wild part is, you're looking at the like the girls who actually do want to join Boy Scout and stuff like that. They're mainly tomboys, and they're like what? Like I'm saying, like what? Like 1 out of every 100 girls and things like that. Yep. So it's like
I was the exact same way. That's why I kept questioning what my Girl Scout leaders wanted, and they didn't like it.
I'm gonna be the whole point of the thing is this is all a plan by the left to fucking demasculate the American male.
And without failing to realize that if you do that right there, then what's going to happen? What's going to happen in the time of war and shit like that, where we're going to have to fight to defend, like I'm saying, this country's
we're
rights.
We're never going to have a war again. These people are like Neville Chamberlains. They don't care.
I mean,
that's what worries me. Like I said, it might not happen in my time and shit like that, but what's going to happen in, I'm saying, in my kids' future and their generations and shit like that. It's like, see, those are things that I'll fight for. Like I'm saying, especially like, with masculinity right there. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you demasculize, like I said, the men who they deem as toxic and shit like that, then who the fuck they gonna goddamn run to when they need somebody to protect them? Because I'm saying these fuckers can't protect themselves. Shit. Yeah, they can run off their damn mouth, but as soon as somebody's ready to slap them in and stuff like that, what do? They go hide behind toxic masculinity.
Oh man, you should have seen my fellow Girl Scouts when I had my fishing pole and everything. They're like, well, where do you have bait? And I'm like, you dig it out of the ground. Are you fucking kidding me? And they're like, what do you mean? So I literally went over to where there was this, I knew that there was loose brush and everything because there were boars out and everything. So I go over there and I dig around in the dirt a little bit amongst the mulch and everything, and I find a bunch of worms. And I'm like, there's our bait. And they're like, yeah.
Another thing is that the Boy Scouts have stopped teaching, as far as I know, rifle marksmanship. So, there's an issue with that as far as I'm concerned, because they want to be all anti-gun. The Boy Scouts, to me, when they stopped, even before they started letting in girls, were dead as far as I'm concerned. Because they stopped teaching rifle marksmanship. I mean, and gun safety.
Why when I went, that they wanted my scoutmasters were adamant about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is we're looking at the left infiltrating everything that is good and pure for the idea of just ruining it. I mean, anything fun, the left will try and ruin. Anything fucking necessary, the left will try and ruin. The left has become nothing more than a bunch of puritanical fucking asshats that want everyone to depend on the government. I mean, that is the end goal of the left. They want everyone to be. They want us all disarmed, and
relying upon them.
Yeah.
Well,
which would be the biggest fucking mistake out there, man.
Oh yeah, nah, fuck that. This country was not founded for people like that. You know what they can do? Canada's very underpopulated. Let them go north.
But Canada won't let them in. But I'd like to point out that Mexico is to the south, but they never want to. They're like, we love brown people, but they never want to go move to Mexico. You ever notice that?
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to find a positive to this story right here. It's like I can understand, like I said, especially like the girls who actually like want to learn all this stuff right here, but they can't learn it like the the Girl Scouts and shit like that because of how they're organized and shit like that. But it's like I just feel like this is this has more of an agenda than what they're leading on and shit like that,
Yeah, it does. It's my thing is this, and people are like, oh, you sound all tinfoil hatty. Yeah, you keep saying that shit, and you're gonna keep saying it until they take you away in chains. Like my thing is, they already showed that video. The guy in like 87 or 88, he was saying that this is the Soviet plan. We're going to infiltrate your universities. We're going to teach your children, all this crazy shit, which is what they're doing. And lo and behold, within the past 10 years, all of a sudden now every Tom, Dick, and Harry is gender confused. I can't pick up a superhero book without having to hear some sort of platforming shit. It's gotten fucking out of hand.
Well, I mean, the left is comic books.
They done just destroyed comics, man.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? And it's tough. I'm going to say this: tough shit. If you really wanted to fucking prevent that, you should have fought for it. The best way to tell these lefties that no, it's when they start screaming. Don't debate them. Just tell them to shut the fuck up. There's no reason to debate these people, because they're just going to call you a racist. Okay, so you know what? If they turn Iron Man into a woman, you stop buying comics.
Yeah, which is what I did,
and that's what happened.
Guess what? The left is made up of mostly poor people without disposable income. You think these shrieking little fuckers that are confused about what bathroom to go to have disposable income? No, they don't. That's why they want to take yours. So you know what? Stop watching movies. I did. Fuck them.
I did too.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Vote with your wallet, because trust me, conservative Americans have much bigger purchasing power than these puritanical leftist fucks that are going to spend their entire life making a fucking frappuccino at goddamn fucking Starbucks. First of all, Starbucks is an affront to coffee, and second of all, you know what the most expensive thing in any Starbucks drink is? The fucking cup.
Yeah. You know what I tell them all the time whenever they start talking to me? Especially if, oh, God, I love it when I'm in a Starbucks because my wife, the Democrat, drags me there. But, we'll go in and they'll start with me because, I go in rocking my shit. Well, you know what? I won't wear my MAGA stuff in any of these places. Honestly, because I don't want them fucking with my food. I'm being dead serious. If I'm going into an establishment that don't serve food, yeah, I'll rock my MAGA gear all day. But nah, I'm not walking into some place and getting like toenails and shit in my food because I'm wearing a MAGA hat. So that's it's especially here they'll do that shit to your food or worse. But like I'll be in there and they'll be talking to me and they'll have the balls to start talking whatever it is. Like one kid brought up with me one day, I wasn't in the mood. I think I was wearing like a samurai shirt or some shit, and he's talking to me about cultural appropriation. I look right at this little pansy. I'm like, you put me the fuck on, right, Junior? And he got taken aback as I put it to him like that. He's like, excuse me? I said, you're not excused. I said, I'm here to get coffee. I said, what the fuck do you want? Oh, well, I just wanted to, you going to spit it the fuck out? Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to, your shirt is cultural appropriation. I said, really? You coming over here to tell me that this shirt is cultural appropriation? Look where the fuck we are. Let me ask you something. I said, I'm just going to take a wild guess. Your last name, it ends in something like Stein or Berg. I said, so I'm just going to guess. You ain't Italian. You see all these signs over here? You see Vente. You see all those, the different signs, Alto. What is that? It's Italian. I said, yeah. I said, so you're participating in cultural appropriation. How's it feel, Susie? You're an oppressor. The kid looked like he was going to shit himself.
Well, any real Italian would be fucking completely and totally affronted by fucking Starbucks. It's shit coffee.
It is shit coffee.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had some shit out of a fucking out of a percolator from fucking Louisiana that was loaded down with chicory that was fucking better than the fucking swill you should get at Starbucks.
Yeah, you don't look if you're gonna go. You want to get good coffee. I tell everybody this. You go into Lower Manhattan. You go to a taxi stand at 2:00 in the morning. You have a cup of coffee there. Holy shit! It's the best coffee you'll ever have. Seriously, like the best coffee you're gonna get is at luncheonettes and diners. Shit in a percolator. That's the best coffee you're gonna get.
Yeah, like how you said with the MAGA gear and stuff like that. It's a trip how like they'll sit up here and they'll damn and demonize the MAGA gear and all that stuff right there. But yet they'll praise a pussy hat. They'll praise a fucking BLM gear and shit like that. They'll praise people who are saying shit that I'm saying fuck white people and white silence and violence and all this stuff right there. All that is acceptable to them. But if I'm saying, but a hat that says "Make America Great Again" and shit like that, oh my God, white supremacy, hatred, you're bringing everything down. While all this other shit right here is basically, I'm saying, you know, like the pussy hat represents fucking sexism against men and shit like that. Hell, Black Lives Matter and shit like that. Hell, that excludes everybody else. I'm saying who is a motherfucking black and shit like that. And all this fucking white silence is violence and white this and white that and all that right there. Like I'm like, really? But yet somebody who's somebody who I'm saying who made up a slogan who's just determined to put America first and all that right there, you know, try to build up the problems right here before you can even, I'm saying, you know, mess with anything else. Oh, that's bad and shit like that. I'm like, why? Simply because because mainstream media and a bunch of uppity ass bourgeoisie celebrities said so. I'm like, really? Fuck shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I try putting it to the leftists like this. And this is the argument they can't refute what I say to them. When I say to them, okay, check this out. You got a problem with me saying America first? Well, yeah, you know, it's a global community. I said, yeah, no shit. I said, okay, cool. We understand we're both on the same planet. Everyone's on the same fucking planet. No one's here from Jupiter, so okay, we're gravy. So check this out. America first, huh?
I said that we know of.
Yeah, America first stipulates to me that you got to take care of your own house and get your shit in order first before you can handle everything else. It's that simple. And then you can't put yourself before everybody else. That's selfish. I said, no, check this out. Your house is on fire across the street. My house is on fire. I can simultaneously put the flames out in my own house while helping you fight the fire in your house. I said, now, if I concentrate on your house and not mine, I said, my house is going to burn down. I said, now your house, I said, which is not as good, does not have as much shit going for it, has all sorts of flaws, and was already half burnt to begin with, is nowhere near a better house. Point being, if the flames can be fought at my house easily and contained, and I can simultaneously help you fight the fire, and fighting the fire at my house does not detract from my ability to help you fight the fire at yours, why can't I fight the fire at my own house? And they don't want to hear that. They got no response for it. Well, you got to concentrate all your effort at, no. I just told you, it ain't going to change the fact the fire at your house is not going to get put out any faster if I detract from putting out the fire at my own house. So again, why can't I do both? And they don't want to hear, well, why does it have to be America first? Well, because that is my first priority. Handle your business, take care of you, keep your own shit together, get your house in order first. Yeah, I cannot, I can't help you unless my own shit is straight. I'm sorry, Pat, you were saying something?
No, I was agreeing with you like that. Yeah, because, America's our home, so we need to take care of it first before we can help anybody else out.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, then what's going to happen? The people that we help out, then we're going to end up, like I'm saying, asking them for help and shit like that. And are they going to want to now?
Yeah. Well, they're not gonna. I bet your ass they're not gonna. No one's gonna help us. Look at the times where are quote unquote allies. Every time shit has gone down. Now look, I don't want to knock anyone when we're talking like this coalition shit that went on in the desert. Yeah, everyone out there to grab whatever they could grab. Let's be real about this shit. People were doing the quote unquote right thing in the past few years with what was going on in the desert because the Americans were there, the British was there, everyone was there doing their coalition thing. There's a lot of shit that was going on. Nothing is altruistic. Let's be real. There was a lot of shit that had a lot of layers to it that went down. But again, I digress. aside, we're not even talking about like the wars in the desert in the past 20 years. I'm just saying on the rest of the world stage, because the Middle East is a whole different kettle of fish. Let's just say in general, in trade, no one's helped us in trade. No one, if anything, we've basically been the ones carrying the world economy. Seriously, like if we just turn around and say, no, we're not going to deal with China anymore, they're going to starve to death. Seriously, like if we just turn off the tap like that, boom, we just killed China. Like that's why we're never going to go to war with them. Like a lot of people don't realize the Chinese, what the fuck is the name of their currency? The yuan, the wen,
the yuan or something like that.
The yuan. Thank you. Yeah, it's actually almost like it's like a fiat currency. If not for the American dollar, it would plummet. It's so tied to us, and
well, I mean, China is a parasite, and that's going to get people on some nerves, but I don't care.
Oh no, believe me, I agree with you. No, not the Chinese people, their government.
Yeah, but their whole economy is parasitic.
Oh yeah. Well, the CCP from the top down, soup to nuts. It's a blemish on the fucking world. I hate the fucking communists. Fucking little pinko bastards. I mean, that's, when he started talking about China, everyone was making fun of the president. That's the main reason I said I'm not even going to listen to anyone else. No one's talking about China. I started with, believe it or not, what got me to come on to YouTube to begin with was I had been watching not even any really political videos. I actually started getting into YouTube because I was looking to fish agriculture as a way to make money. I had said this before. We had a huge influx of people from all parts of Asia, China and Korea specifically, in the past few years. We actually had to enact new laws just because they were overfishing everything. They were actually like depleting the local fish stock. I didn't think it was possible, but I mean, millions of them came here like en masse because of the persecution of Falun Gong that they have going on over in China. And so I started looking into ways to make money off of these folks because I'm sorry, I'm a capitalist. A bunch of people just show up. Okay, I'm a New Yorker. Let me get my carpetbagger on, So I started looking into, okay, how can I make money off of these people? Not exploiting them, mind you, just make money off of them. That's all mutual shit, Why exploit? If I can make an honest buck, I can make 2 honest bucks. The honest money is easy money, in my opinion. So I'm looking into how to make money, and I find this TV show on YouTube called China Uncensored, and I start watching it, and this show fucking horrified me. I could not believe how bad it is over in China. Like, they literally have villages that they decimated because, get this, the peasants were uneducated over there. So the government forced them to start doing, like, blood transfusions because they were selling the blood. And they didn't use any screening. And they gave the entire village AIDS. And there's about 10,000 people buried in the side of a mountain in China that they don't want to talk about. Think about that. So that's what type of country they are. They gave a whole village AIDS and then buried them instead of treating them because they just kept taking their blood out. The AIDS-infected blood. And they would just
cure the AIDS with lead?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they sell the tainted blood to third world countries.
Well, I mean, China's gotten to the point where, hey, we can't make money because we're now having to actually pay our own fucking people like an actual living wage. So what are they doing? They're sending them to they're outsourcing to fucking to Africa.
Yeah.
I mean, why not when you can exploit, right?
Yeah. I've gotten into the mix with people before on here, and I've told them, fuck you. I don't care about you. I don't give a fuck about you. Go fuck your mother walking. And the reason I say things like that to the people on here that I'm arguing with is because they all got one thing in common. They all got money. from my point of view as a poor person, they're rich, but I'm American poor. You know what I'm saying? That's actually rich compared to the rest of the world when you really want to get down to it. And again, this is nothing where we have to pay for it as Americans. This is just the way of how our economy has figured the fuck out, and we just came out on top. But you know, the thing of it, what I'm getting at is like, if you look at what went down in China, this is why I'm pushing this, because you know, I like people. I'm a people person. And when I got into arguments with people on here, you know, the reason I'm getting nasty with these motherfuckers is when you see them when they're on camera, you got like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 worth of electronic equipment. I'm here on a buck and chains fucking computer I picked up, you know, like as a clearance thing at like Target. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no money. And that's the reason I got no respect for these people who were sitting here like, Scooby, you got to kiss the brass ring. I'm like, yeah, how about I break your fucking arm? But I digress. I consider myself a people person, and seeing these people in China suffering this way, the peasants, my fucking God, you got to see this shit. Like, you got to see some of these videos. I hate doing this to you guys, because honestly, watching these videos is part of the reason I'm as fucked up as I am, because that's the reason I'm so gung-ho for the president, because you got 1 billion people over there that are enslaved. They're fucking slaves. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck. Now, you're worried about offending people? Look, if you're Chinese and you can hear this, well, God bless you, because you're not supposed to be listening to this, because you're a slave. Seriously. Your country is enslaving you if you hear this and you're in China. Like, that's fucked up, man. That's a whole country of slaves, and that's some fucked up shit. They're commie slaves. You gotta, like, seriously, the name of the channel is China Uncensored. Check that shit out, because it's some heartbreaking shit what these people got to deal with. As an American, it offends me like you wouldn't believe. Like, I know it ain't our business. Like that Xi Jinping, when they flew him in here, you know, they should have fucking dropped his ass over the fucking La Brea tar pits. Like, just kick him out the cargo door. Get the fuck out. Seriously, let that country descend into civil war. Maybe we'll be able to just fucking free them from the communism. Who knows? I mean, Christ. It's horrible. Like, the reason that my neighborhood is so full of Asian people, again, nothing against them, but the reason they all showed up, Falun Gong is some shit that they do over there. Like, in the park, it's like a different form of Tai Chi. And they decided to declare it terrorist because they literally had nothing to do with their military. And they had to think of some shit to do with them. That's fucked up. Like, it's literally like they decided in this country, like, okay, we're going to outlaw yoga, and everyone who practices it is like a member of a terrorist cult. That's what they did. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, none of you ever heard any of this shit?
Yeah, I have. It's just.
Well, I know you have, Nano, because you actually, you know, I'm pretty sure you've been to China probably a few times.
I'm an established world traveler, so you know.
Yeah, but you know, I don't mean to go off on a tirade. It's just one of those things. Like, look, I admit this before. I've broken bread with people of all walks of life, and people like who have some politics where they do not like people of other walks of life at all. I'm not like that. I honestly, look, if you're human, I don't give a flying fuck if you're hot pink and you got racing stripes. I don't want to see you suffer. You know, it's just basic human compassion. And these poor fucking people in China, the way that they're suffering, it's heartbreaking. It's some heart-wrenching shit, seriously. Look up some of these videos. It'll affect your sleep if you got any form of decency in you. You know, and I say that because, look, I know I come across a lot as either a complete, total, and utter scumbag if you don't like me, or if you do like me, I come across as a hard-nosed asshole. And I understand that completely. That is my personality. But I do have a heart, and this is one of those things that breaks it. And really, you know, it's one of those things. You gotta look at this channel. You gotta look at some of this shit, because this is the reason I voted for Trump. Because, you know, you got to realize China's like a fifth of the planet. So for them to be a toxic wasteland, which it really is, It's affecting us that they want to talk about, oh, global. You're a nationalist. No, I'm a globalist. That's why I'm anti-China. I don't want the planet to fucking die because this country is a fucking cancer.
And the fact is, have you ever seen pictures of China? You know, that all of those are staged. They shut down the factories for a fucking week to let the smog clear out before they take the fucking pictures.
Yeah.
I mean,
when they had the Beijing Olympics, they shut down all production for 2 weeks before and after so that the people could actually breathe when they came to China to visit.
Well, they also don't want ugly pictures of China getting out.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to see the pictures of, they don't want to see pictures of people that throw themselves off buildings for, you know, to throw themselves out of factories because they're being worked to death.
Yeah. And what about all the fake food that they have over there, too? Like, you get this. You guys know about how they make fake food for commercials because real food doesn't perform well in front of lights?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, in China, they figured out, well, we're just going to turn around and make that shit and sell it as food anyway. They actually sell the food that you can use for commercials to eat over in China. They don't tell you it's fake either. You got to be careful.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, that place is like fucking hell. It's the most evil place that I've ever heard of in my life. Like, I lucked out. A guy I was friends with, he was a really diehard libertarian. Me and him aren't friends anymore.
Oh,
you know?
that's the most evil place you heard of. What about North Korea?
It blows it out of the water.
Yeah, but North Korea is a fucking hermit kingdom.
Yeah. North Korea is just a bunch of weirdos. North Korea is like the weird communist, you know, that lives up in the woods. You know, it's crazy old Moonbeam. He's out there making it shine. That's basically what Korea is. But no, China itself, holy shit, it's you gotta, it's I can't even like put it into words because it sounds almost cartoonish. Like, nah, Scooby, you're making it up. It really is like one of those places where they kill each other for power. I was watching, I mean, bro, fuck soap operas. I was watching like their breakdown of how the communists, like the Chi-Coms, how they seize power from each other. Like, the guy who was the head of their version of, I guess, the KGB, or their version of the CIA, whatever you want to put it, it's called the Politburo. His name is...
That's their governing body, not their intelligence apparatus.
Okay, what's their intelligence apparatus again?
Hold on 1 second, because it's probably something stupid, but...
Yeah, I mixed them up. But the guy's name, he's not there anymore. They removed him from his seat. His name was Joe Young Kung. Joe Young Kung was actually...
Mighty Joe Young.
Joe Young Kung was actually Kim Jong-un's godfather.
It's the Ministry of State Security.
Thank you. So basically, the guy who was the head of the Ministry of the State Security was the premier of North Korea's godfather. Run that through your head for a second. Yeah. Fucking communists. They're like the mafia. They're basically like the Red Mafia, if you want to get that.
That's all they are. I mean, you have everybody that's actually prospers under communism is a member of the inner party.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the secret. Communism is inherently always an oligarchy.
And these kids want to instill it here. That's all I see.
Well, the dumb thing is they either they're the first group that gets the bullet, the true believers.
Yeah.
Or they honestly believe they'll be part of that. Part of the inner party, like people like ACO or whatever she wants to call herself, Aticia Cortez, actually believes that she will be a member of the inner party, or she actually might be dumb enough to be a true believer. Trotsky was a true believer. We all know what happened to him.
Yeah, he got his own show now on Netflix because
Trotsky, he got ice pick through his head.
I know that. I'm saying they gave him a show now on Netflix. I can't wait to tell that to Burnside. He'll probably hit the ceiling.
Well, Trotsky died.
Yeah, I know that.
Another one that was a true believer was Che Guevara. The Bolivian Special Forces executed that piece of shit. You know.
You know, it says a lot that Trotsky was here living in New York. Fucking disgusting, man. I hate communists. Like, I really hate commies.
I mean, they've been dead for. I mean, Trotsky's been dead for years. Leon Trotsky was a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Lenin was, you know, an idiot. And the thing is, anybody that fucking puts a vested thought into the idea that that being a member, okay, that an ideology thought up by a moocher that mooched off of another couch surfer, okay, because you know here's the fucked up thing about Trotsky, or not Trotsky, fucking Lenin, or not Lenin, well, fucking Marx. Okay, Engels was Marx's benefactor. Engels didn't really have a job. He lived up. He's the 1800s equivalent of living off of his parents, living in his parents' basement.
They're all Bohemians, right? Correct?
Yeah, basically, they're all fucking there.
No, I mean they lived in Bohemia.
Well, yeah, they lived in what would be now Germany.
Yeah, no, I mean, but specifically, like that was like that society back then. It was really it was the prototype for like the beatnik hippie society that we have now. Was Bohemia. Nano, did I lose you?
No, you didn't lose me.
No.
What I'm saying is that's irrelevant. Okay, what I'm saying is Engels never had a job. If he did, it was handed to him by his parents. And Marx basically surfed off of Engels' couch. So we're talking about a fucking idea, an economic concept made up by a guy that never worked in a factory, never had a job, and basically surfed off of another fucking mooch. A mooch of a moocher.
Wow.
Hey.
You know, I try to point out to these kids constantly, communism, like they wrote all that shit before labor unions existed. Because the labor union basically encompasses like 90% of what Marx was outlining anyway.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Unions, and I'm anti a lot of unions because I think they've outlived their purpose for the most part. I mean, if they're not providing training, what the fuck's the point of them? I mean, when you got like fast food workers trying to get $15 an hour, I find that disgusting. Look, if you're working at fast food, you're supposed to be 16 to 18 years old. It's not a fucking career.
I'm gonna log off and turn those off.
All right, good night, Cal.
Brother.
Good night.
All right.
And that's me saying what I mean when I'm saying, you know.
Yeah. Like, I lost my whole train of thought. I'm sorry, guys. It happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is almost 1 a.m. for you guys anyway. But I'm like, you know, communists are communists, and they are annoying at best. You know, but their whole ideology is basically being held down. Or was formulated by a guy that never had a job.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was talking about before. Like when I was saying, like that bohemian lifestyle. That's. I hate saying it, but that is the reason that the Weimar Republic collapsed. I mean, we're not even talking about debt. Like, on the one hand, they were excelling in the sciences, but sociologically, they were starting to collapse. It's, you know, it was Vienna. If you look at Vienna at that point, like you had a lot of people who they were like Freud, but then that's when you started to go past that. You started to get into the deviance. That's when you started to have people doing the crazy, bizarre shit, like that guy that was in Hellboy. You know, the unnecessary operations. that was a big thing in Germany at that time. Things of that nature. Like, if you look into Germany in like the 19th century, there was a lot of rampant degeneracy going on because of the high science that they've achieved. It kind of went hand in hand.
Also because of the moral puritanism of Victorianism.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, anytime you have moral puritanism, I'm gonna be real blunt here. You also end up with huge degenerate fucking subcultures. Yeah. I mean, right now we have puritanically moral fucking liberals out there that are like, they're like, oh, you want to go shoot guns? Well, you can't do that. But I want to go be able to fuck a sheep in the ass, because my feelings and my gender. So let's just be honest. The left has no moral fucking rudder. I mean, they are the party of pedophilia. They are the party of fucking degeneracy. They're the party of, if it's anything but cisgender normal sex, it's acceptable. Oh, you want a man to have sex with a woman and produce children? That's disgusting. And I get a lot of people going, you're exaggerating, but I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah. No, believe me, I know. I deal with them every day. That's when I was talking to you the other night, when I was saying, like, these leftists I deal with in the city. When I was saying they're all talking about, like, their culture and their walk of life, and you would say, well, none of the people I know, like, complain about anything. And I said, well, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. The people that I know from all these different walks of life, the reason they're complaining, I ask them, well, where are you from? Oh, well, I'm from Cleveland. And okay, I'll ask the other one, where are you from? I'm from Wichita. You see what it is? They all come here from all over the country. And what it was is because of whatever podunk part of the country they lived in, and they were a person of color, they were the only person of color for like a 10, 15-mile radius, so everyone fucked with them. And when did they fuck with them? They fucked with them when their ages were still in single digits. And that's the thing that these people, oh, well, I had to overcome a lot of adversity when I was a kid. Oh, I see. So you had an ethnic last name, so everyone teased you. Grow the fuck up. Like, we're going to tear down the whole country because you couldn't handle third grade? That's what it sounds like to me.
All right, so we're going to end the night on puppies playing.
Oh, doggies. I love pooches.
That one pooch is just like, get it away from me.
He looks just like Patches. He looks just like my pooch. I love how he's got the PD eyeball.
Let's just go to Cute Emergency and we'll look at their stuff.
And for those of you who are watching,
he's trying to get Big Ass Bunny out of his bed.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love dogs.
Yeah, they do like that. That's mine. Like, get up out of it. Get.
That puppy can't get that thing across the room.
Oh, a German Shepherd. I love German Shepherds. We had them when I was a boy. Yeah.
His own reflection.
Yeah, this is why I got so many rescue dogs. I love dogs. And Patches is a soft rescue. I got him off of some idiots. They weren't trying to hurt him. They just didn't know what they were doing.
Now, this is a golden retriever, but this is exactly what Cody does.
You scratch one. Like, oh, right there.
I love it when your dog smiles at you when you're petting him. Puppy does not look happy.
Like, dog, like, how you gonna put this retarded stuff on my head?
Oh, that's too funny.
We had a dog named Whiskers, and we used to he wouldn't go outside.
Hey, Six.
Hey, what up, Six?
How's everybody?
Hey, Sid.
Doing good, no?
Good to see you, Pat. Long time no see.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah. How did you like the weather today?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't like the weather at all.
How it went from like 20s last week to fucking 80 today.
Yeah, I mean the sun was out. I was actually sweating today. I'm like, God.
Yeah.
I don't know, cause I think it up here it had like rained like a little bit, and then after that, it just the one weather just came out of nowhere. So I'm like, oh shit, it's that climate change.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be sneezing my ass off in March, so we all know what's going to go down there.
Oh God, allergy season coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be Marchmas. And I've got videos lined up just for that, because I sensed it coming in January, because we had a few days in the mid 70s.
Puppy has his blankie for bed.
I was thinking I might actually in March come down to Texas and try to visit with the three of you. Only because I'm going to be turning 40. And I got, I want to do something. And I never been to Texas. And since I know everyone I know turns out to be in fucking Texas. Like, seriously. There's you three. And then there's Tyro's down in Texas. And, who else was I talking to the other day that's down in Texas? Like, I'm just saying, like, everyone's down there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like, I'd like to see the Alamo and just all that barbecue and shit. But, yeah, I definitely want to come check out your state. I'm thinking, I'm keeping it on the burner. I don't know. Maybe I'll go down to Florida to go visit Tara and a few other people, because there's a few people in Florida, too. But I'm just saying, since you guys are talking about March, it just made me think about it, because my birthday's next month and I'm gonna be 40. So
yeah, but like I said, if you ever do, like I said, there's the Alamo down in San Antonio and shit like that, and then there's the Big Texan. Shit.
Yeah, I want to come check it out, man. Definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you ever visit Texas right there, yes, you got to go to the Big Texan right there. Just shit. Don't try to goddamn that motherfucking challenge and shit like that unless you can. It's like, I was gonna try that challenge, but now I'm just like, I'm up to the stage right now. If I eat that much goddamn beef, I'll fucking kill myself.
The Big Texan steaks are fucking shit, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's tourist trap. They're tourist trap.
I was gonna try, but I'm just like, at this stage right now, I'll probably have a fucking heart attack if I eat that much beef.
You could also
like, you got that 72-ounce, steak, you got the fucking I think 5 shrimp, you got a salad, you got a freaking you got to eat all that. Now I think like in less than an hour. And I think the person who holds the record right now is like this skinny ass white woman. I mean, she is no bigger than the goddamn.
She's also 13. She also is 13 years old, and she's going to try to eat 2 of them in an hour.
No, she did. No, like this person, I forgot her name is Molly something. Like she actually ate 2 of them and stuff like that. And I mean, this woman is, I don't know. She may have a tapeworm and that goddamn shit.
Yeah.
Like, how did this?
She just has teenage metabolism. God, if we could
got to, man.
If we could all eat like we were fucking 13 again.
Man.
And by barbecue, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's
yeah, man. I'd be down in some. I can eat, but it's like I can't eat like that no more. I have to take my time now.
Yeah. Well, Nano, Pat, if Scoob's not afraid of a little fire, he can try the Ghost Chili Burger Challenge just outside of San Antonio.
God damn.
I got no problem with fire.
Man, that shit gives me nightmares.
That good, huh?
You can always do the. You can always do the. You can always do the fucking habanero slider challenge.
No, that was not bad. What in the world? What's
it's the
singing
dogs.
along?
Yeah.
It's the corgi howling.
Yeah.
Oh, those things
That's
are
why
adorable.
the Queen has 2 of those things.
Yeah. Oh, I love those dogs. They're adorable.
Yeah, the corgi.
Speaking of dogs, we got the Westminster Dog Show coming up.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you're gonna lose your streaming privileges, Six.
I know. I know. The Olympics already got me. That's why I got a streaming channel. So I didn't have one before, but I had the audacity to try to critique the not even that current year's Olympics, the 2012 London Olympics. But they didn't like that. I even had the sound off. They did not like that one bit. So I had my streaming privileges on my primary channel taken away. So I had to start a new live streams channel.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The Olympics can get over-ass sensitive. Like, oh, God.
Yeah.
What an adorable doggy. Hey, guys, it's 12:30. I got a call tonight. I'm hopping out. I'll talk to you in the morning. Good night, all.
All right, now.
All right, take it easy, man.
Yep, be good. Night, guys.
Later.
All right, and I'm going to call this show done. I actually had to kind of kill everything because everything decided to fucking freeze up. All right, so Nano, do you have anything to show?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Six?
Well, I've got a little side project with I'm working out with somebody right now. I can't get into the details now, but it's going to be kind of interesting. It's going to be just a once a month thing, but it'll be kind of interesting.
And Pat?
Right now, I'm currently working on a video. I just haven't finished the editing yet, but hopefully I'll have it up before Friday.
Awesome. And I am Harrison, your favorite cyber bitch. And you can find me on pretty much any social media. Please go check out my video about the Depot Park Juggler. Not Juggalo, Juggler. And check out my video about my sewing machine. And I will be putting out videos of me sewing up my friend's wedding dress. Good night and have a great night.